Eurobasket is revealing that the Knicks got an absolute steal in free agency, plus a star bursting back onto the scene in a big, big way. I'm Trevor Lane. This is the Basketball Bulletin. Make sure you subscribe right here to the channel. Turn on those notifications as well. So I don't know if you saw it, but Guerschon Yabusele, my goodness, what a performance against Poland. 36 points for Yabusele in this matchup. Was this just a hot shooting game? Maybe a little bit when we look at this. I mean, obviously, the three-point shooting, a bit of an outlier. 6 of 12 from deep. Prior to this, the most threes he's taken in a game during the tournament has been 3. So the volume way increased, the efficiency increased there. 6 of 12. Was it a hot shooting night? Yes, it was, but Knicks fans should be thrilled with what they're seeing out of Yabusele, because I think he is going to be a wonderful fit and maybe an under-the-radar addition to this Knicks roster coming out of free agency. Now, we're also going to talk a bit about Lauri Markkanen and what he's been doing in Eurobasket, because that's going to be a really big deal, I think, for the Utah Jazz. But talking about Guerschon Yabusele, the Knicks got him on a fantastic contract over the summer. It's a 2-year deal, $5.5 million this year, player option next year at $5.7 million. He is heading into his age 30 season. But I'll tell you what I love about the fit of Yabusele for the Knicks, because when we look at this game, yes, it is an outlier, but 36 points is 36 points. That's still very, very impressive, especially with how hard that team from Poland has been playing in Eurobasket. It shows you the capability that Yabusele has. Not that I expect him to be a big-time scorer in the NBA, but in terms of being a floor spacer that also gives you that size and that physicality. He is 6'8", 260. 260 pounds. Guerschon Yabusele is at 6'8". So he's a 4, but he brings you plenty of size, plenty of physicality at the basket with floor spacing, and that's key, with floor spacing. 6 of 12 from 3. Is he going to take 12 threes every single night? No. Is making 50% from 3 an outlier? Yes, but the man can shoot. We saw it last year with the Philadelphia 76ers on a team that was in turmoil all season long, topsy-turvy, trying to figure out where your shots are coming from, and he shot 38% from deep. So it's not like he's not a shooter. He absolutely is, and he still brings that size and that physicality to the table. Really good as a cutter, really good guy to set the screen, a little dribble handoff, roll to the basket, and because of that immense strength that he possesses, he can still finish at the rim. So what this means for the New York Knicks, when you're seeing a player like Yabusele, again, a blowout performance, an outlier performance compared to what we've been seeing him do previously, right now ranking 21st in the Eurobasket tournament in scoring, and that's with that 36-point explosive game on his books here. So he is not going to be a big-time scorer night in, night out. We're figuring, maybe somewhere around the 10-point range or so in New York. But slotting next to Karl-Anthony Towns, what this is going to do is it's going to give the Knicks more versatility, more physicality in the paint. You can play Yabusele with Towns, still have plenty of floor spacing out there, running OG Anunoby, running Bridges out there as well. And you can go with a bigger lineup, a more physical lineup. You can still play smaller. You can still run Bridges as your 4 when you want to. You can still have that lineup out there. You can run Yabusele alongside Mitch Robinson if you want to do that as well. But the bottom line is that the Knicks are now going to have a little bit more versatility. They can have more physicality on the floor at any one particular time. And I think, well, again, I shouldn't expect him to be a big-time scorer in the NBA. This shows you what he can be, at least as a floor spacer at the NBA level. And a reminder that he does have the capability as a veteran player. I know he doesn't have a lot of NBA experience, but has spent 3 years in the league. His first 2 years were very, very young. Early in his career, he was with the Boston Celtics. Now we saw him successful with a very difficult situation in Philadelphia, and now he goes to a Knicks team that is hoping to be the team representing the East. It is a realistic goal for the Knicks to represent the East in the NBA Finals this next year, and I think Yabusele may have flown under the radar as a free agent signing. That is a wonderful contract that they've got him on. You wish it wasn't a player option, but my goodness, you can't be upset with the value. At the very least, he is a night in, night out rotation player, and I think the optionality he gives this roster is absolutely fantastic. So huge game for Yabusele to lead France to this win over Poland, and a reminder for Knicks fans of what they just got. But perhaps even more impressive than what Yabusele's done is what Lauri Markkanen has been doing in Eurobasket. We're going to get to that next. You've probably heard of the Sleeper app at this point, but here's a little secret. It's more than just a platform for season-long fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users are enjoying playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but it also offers live stats, including real-time updates and visualization on all stats, a great news feed. I use this all the time. You get lightning-fast updates on your favorite players and teams, and a real-time chat where you can engage with other users about individual plays and performances during the NFL and NBA season. So you can download the number one sports app today. Experience it for yourself. Sleeper, a great presenting sponsor here for the Basketball Bulletin. You can see I even made some picks on the Sleeper Picks platform here. I went with Dak Prescott to go over half a passing yard. That's kind of a free square. Love those little promos that they do. And then I've got Saquon Barkley, more than 96.5 rushing yards against the Cowboys. Oof, I don't know about that defense. And Kyron Williams, I believe he will get one into the end zone. So I've got more on him there. If you guys want to check it out, you can get a $100 deposit match up to $100 when you use our code Bulletin. Use the link in the description down below. I'll tell you what, as impressive as Yabusele was in this game, the guy who's been consistently incredible. Yes, there's Luka at the top there in points per game. That's been phenomenal. But look at what Lauri Markkanen has been doing for Finland. You look at this, it's not so much the point. Obviously, the points are important. They certainly are. That absolutely matters. 29 points per game. Wonderful stuff. Remember, in Eurobasket, it's 10-minute quarters, so it is shorter than an NBA game. So that's important as we contextualize all these stats. But it's more about the percentages. Look at Markkanen, 49% from the field and 41% from three on 7 attempts per game. This is a big deal for the Utah Jazz that Markkanen has been shooting so well because he had such a struggle last season. So much of his value is tied to his efficiency shooting the ball. Last season for Utah, 35% from the field or from three, and I'm rounding up to get there. Ouch, for a player who's 37% from three for his career, 40% from three the season before last, 39% from three his first season as a member of the Utah Jazz, an all-star season for him. To drop that drastically tells you how bad of a season it was in Utah. He needed a bounce back. 42% from the field. That's not what makes Lauri Markkanen special. What makes Markkanen special is his ability not just to score using his impressive size, his frame. It is also to score efficiently. That is such a key part to all of this. So seeing what he's been doing in this tournament for Finland, so important for not just obviously for Finland, but for the Utah Jazz. I don't know what Markkanen's future is in Utah. Is he so good that you just ultimately say, you know what, at 28 years old, going into this next season, is he actually going to still be a core piece by the time Utah is ready to start winning basketball games? I think it's a fair question. But the problem is that on the long-term deal that Markkanen is on right now, he's under contract for 4 more NBA seasons, 46.4 million next season, 46.1 million, then 49.8 million, then $53.5 million. To pay him that kind of money, you've got to feel like he can be the second best player on a team that has a chance to win the whole thing. And I don't think you can say that about the Markkanen that we got last year. Now, is he an easy player to build around? You still have some defensive concerns and things of that nature. So no, but on the right team with the right fit, Markkanen makes a lot of sense. I really think that if that shooting percentage comes up, we could see the Utah Jazz wind up cashing in and Markkanen becoming a trade asset midseason. Remember, last year he could not be traded. Could not be traded midseason last year from the Utah Jazz because when he signed his extension last summer. This year he will be trade eligible. I don't think Utah is going to give him away, but if this kind of shooting persists into the NBA, and this is a return to form for Markkanen, what we're seeing in Eurobasket represents a return to form for him, then he could wind up being one of the hottest trade targets out there on the market come January and come February. I think a number of teams will be interested in him if they feel like Markkanen is back to being himself. And from what we've seen so far this summer, it sure looks like he is. So certainly a name to keep an eye on. The age getting up there a little bit, enough to where I think the Jazz are going to question whether or not Markkanen indeed can be. They'll never tell you this, but indeed can be a long-term fit for them because by the time the rest of this team is ready to win, well, Markkanen may already be past his prime, which he is in right now. But everybody give me your thoughts. Guerschon Yabusele, did the Knicks indeed get a steal? $5 million for Yabusele. How big of a steal is that for the Knicks? And do you believe what we're seeing from Markkanen, the number 2 scorer in Eurobasket? And will that ultimately allow him to play his way out of Utah? Give me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe right here to the channel. Till next time, everybody. See ya and stay safe.